Trail cameras. I picked mine up from Harstine Island a little over a week ago, and now we're going to look at the results. And believe me, you're going to want to stick around because we want to know how you explain this. And how do you explain this? Coming up next on Encounters USA. Hello everyone, welcome to Encounters USA. We do aliens, we do Bigfoot, and we do dogmen. And we've been using these puppies to look for Bigfoot in the Pacific Northwest, specifically Harstine Island. Now I left my trail cameras out from the month of February 2026 to March, over a month, and then about a week ago I went and picked them up. Now, I've been looking through the footage of the trail cameras, and believe me, it's a little bit astonishing. But I'm not going to tell you, I'm going to show you. So let's get going looking into the video from the cameras. And we're going to start off with camera 2. And before we start off with camera 2, let me explain. If you saw the video where I set these cameras up, you understand my rationale for using 4 cameras and the pattern in which I set the cameras up so they would have an optimum angle of view. Now, we're going to start off with trail camera 2 because trail camera 1 and trail camera 4 were, for whatever reason, inoperable. Trail camera 1 was switched off completely, and trail camera 4 had been programmed with the most sensitive setting. And so it had literally taken hundreds, I don't want to say thousands, but it had so much data on it, and that data could also be confirmed by the other 2 cameras. So I just went ahead and I just relied on the data or the pictures and images from trail cameras 2 and trail cameras 3. Now let's start off with trail camera 3. Why? Because trail camera 3 was placed specifically onto kind of an overlook. It overlooked what I call the depression in the video where I set these cameras up. Now this depression just drops down from the ground level. It goes through, I think, like a creek, a swamp, a lot of brush, and then it rises out on the other side. Now my theory was that whoever was going and taking my Bigfoot goodies was coming out of this depression. So I was going to catch them coming out, and then with another camera, I was going to catch them getting the goodies, and with the other 2 cameras, all of them would confirm who took those Bigfoot goodies. Well, unfortunately, as you're going to see, things didn't happen exactly as I wanted. So the first thing I want to point out to you is that I set these cameras up with the ultimate sensitivity so that they would, be sure to catch anything that showed up, because the last time I set these cameras out, I never saw who took the Bigfoot goodies. Detection delay. Do you want any delay between the time that your camera detects something and when it starts recording? And I don't want any. And so I can't come to any conclusions until I see who took them. So right now I need to find out who left this jar or these jars looking the way they did, and I want to see that on the cameras. So we're just going to go through and look at the footage very quickly. And as we're looking at the footage from camera 2, I just want you or camera 3, excuse me, I just want you to point out that we are looking out over the depression, and as you can see, the Bigfoot goodies are to the right, to the very far right, and you can almost see in some of the video or the pictures, because of the sunlight, you can almost see the blue lid of the Skippy peanut butter jar. Excuse me. But you can definitely see the outline of the apples, the colors of the apples, and you can also see the round shape of the other peanut butter jar sitting almost in the center of the branch near the other Jif peanut butter jar. And also you can see, depending on the picture, an apple here, an apple there. Now, as we go through time, then we're going to see some unusual things. Now, the first unusual thing I want you to notice is looking at the video or the camera footage. I want to explain, if you don't understand how these trail cameras work, when they see motion, they take a picture. That's simple, right? So I had these cameras programmed, ultimate sensitivity, take 30-second video and 3 shots. Give me 3 good shots. So we go through our video and pretty much the same thing, but it's mostly just every time the wind blows, these things turn on and start taking pictures. But then there's a few things like this. What is this? Because, as I said, when these things are triggered, they start taking pictures. That means that unless something is absolutely motionless, it's going to be different in each picture because it lapses 1 second and goes to the next picture. So how did this thing manage whatever it is? I mean, to me, it looks like a blurry leaf. How did it manage to maintain its position in 3 consecutive pictures over 3 consecutive seconds and not trigger the video? I repeat that. This did not trigger any video. It sat there for 3 seconds and triggered the images, but for some reason it did not trigger the video. All right, so that's pretty bizarre. So as we get to the end of camera 2, I just want you to ask yourself, is there anything unusual about what I am seeing here beyond the mystery leaf object thing? All right, well, if you haven't come to it yet, we'll look at the next one, and maybe you'll come to your intended conclusion after the next one. So in the next camera video, now remember I said these things have interlocking fields of view. Camera 3 looked at the swamp. Camera 2 looked at camera 3. And if you look at camera 2's view, on the left side of the view, you can see the strap from camera 3 as it overlooks the swamp. Now, if you look to the right of the picture, you can see camera 4 over to the very right. It's a green box sitting on the tree, and between those two, in the tree that has the obvious branches, that's where the Bigfoot goodies are located. So camera 2 is positioned to see pretty much everything. And so it is basically our key asset. So camera 2 sits there, and just like the other camera, every time a leaf blows, every time something minor happens, this thing takes a picture. So it goes along taking pictures basically of leaves and rustling trees and weeds. But then one night it takes a picture of this. So tell me, what exactly is this? So what exactly is this thing? And then why does it show up a few nights later when it snows? So now that we've seen the evidence from the 2 trail cameras that were operable, I want to ask you, what did you notice about all the footage, everything that happened? What did you notice that was peculiar about everything besides the mystery orb light thing and the mystery floating leaf deal? What else did you notice that was different? Well, if you give up, I'm going to tell you who took the Bigfoot goodies, who took the peanut butter and the apples. Because as you can see, they're there, and then suddenly they're just not there anymore. So again, these cameras are set to ultimate sensitivity, yet something was able to come, raccoons, squirrel, I don't think deers climb trees, but whatever got a hold of these things and took them out of the tree, they did it without showing up on the camera, on a ultra high sensitive camera. So if you make these trail cameras, if you know anything about them, maybe you can explain to me in the comments why this is the second time I've done this and no animal, no critter, no nothing shows up to take the peanut butter. Now, I have raccoons on camera taking the apples in my previous video when I left these trail cameras before. But this time there's nothing to indicate who or what took the apples, took the peanut butter, and left them licked clean at the bottom of the tree. There is no indication of what happened. So we have no answer to how we went from this to this. All we have is more questions like, what the heck is this? And what is this? Is this all associated with Bigfoot? You hear that? Is there something going on in this area that we don't know about and maybe we should try to avoid? Well, we're going to close this off, but more than ever, I got to tell people, if you're out looking for aliens, Bigfoot, or Dogman, and you're putting up your trail cameras, just remember what we say at Encounters USA. Always watch your back.